Civilization 3, the awkward middle child you never hear about, as well as my personal entry into the acclaimed series. I was playing this game before I had foundational reading comprehension, which, by the way, do not recommend. Civ 3 is from a different, more unforgiving era of gaming, relatively speaking to entries which came after it. While I can sometimes win a game of Civ 6 on a few difficulties, Civ 3 on Settler difficulty, the easiest one, will consistently hand my behind right back to me, all the while teasing me like a schoolyard bully. However, in this old jank also lies opportunity. No, not the opportunity to be good, but to be stupid. Because in Civ 3, you can place cities down with only one tile separating them, in essence creating an empire that's less bustling, successful metropoli and closer to a widespread collection of transient hovels. When you're constantly producing settlers, no one really has time to put down roots, literally or metaphorically speaking. Where am I going with all this? Well, in biology, there's a concept known as carrying capacity, wherein growth isn't able to boom unfettered. Sooner or later, the resources on which the growth underlie will be stretched so thin that further growth will simply be unachievable. In a world with over 8.3 billion of us little weirdos, I sometimes wonder where our carrying capacity is. But since my legal counsel advises me that running an experiment of that nature is unethical, we're going to play out this little thought game in Civ instead. For the purpose of our experiment, I'm turning off all the enemies, both barbarian and enemy civilizations. We don't need them. We aren't trying to be good. However, Civ 3, never on the back foot, is still going to insist that we're wasting our time by playing in such a way. Like I said, schoolyard bully. I went with a random Civ for who we'll actually play as, and because fate is a twisted being, we became America. Which is okay for a couple of reasons. On the one hand, there's probably irony jokes somewhere in there if you look hard enough. And on the other, I can actually recognize the names of most of the cities we'll be settling. This will come into play later. But with all that said, it's time to found our first city, Washington, D.C., birthplace of the United States and the seat of power of the American Empire by default. I say by default because no one is around to challenge us. And with us, in addition to our settler, we have a scout and a worker. Let's call the scout Rhonda and the worker Marv. No real reason. I just feel like naming them. We'll set Rhonda to automatically explore and Marv to automatically do his due, which mostly consists of digging roads, which is actually very useful because all the backpackers building our nation move only one tile at a time, and roads let them go ever so slightly faster. And within a handful of turns, more cities start popping up, and the minimap slowly becomes an increasingly eyesore mash of light blue and white. Boston, New York. Other cities known across the nation join us on our journey into global settlement, like Philadelphia and Hunt Valley. Hunt Valley? Where is Hunt? Oh, you're a cheeky one, Mr. Meyer. I respect the hustle, but you're cheeky all the same. At a certain point, we build so many cities that the names start looping. Washington is joined by New Washington, and later by Washington 2, which, to be clear, is the third city named Washington. Now, Mr. Meyer, I wasn't the best at math in school, but I'm pretty sure counting doesn't go 1, new, skip a few, circle back to 2, 99, 100. I'm only pretty sure though, so I'll let it slide for now. Along the way, a few cities have to stop making settlers because their population is so low that to make a new city would mean abandoning the old one. So fine, Memphis, have it your way. Build the Forbidden Palace instead. See if I care. Also, Pittsburgh tried to burn themselves to the ground at one point, but with nothing to actually burn in the city, what do they think they're going to do about it? I'm the despot, despite unlocking several more altruistic forms of governance. I was given the opportunity to switch to them, but I didn't. So like I said, Pittsburgh, what you going to do about it? As it turns out, crashed the game. Pittsburgh got the last laugh this time, but in a sense, we were victorious. No, we weren't a good leader, or even a memorable nation, but we did something better. We stress-tested a decades-old engine until it screamed at us in such rage it tore itself apart rather than continue to found cities. In the end, we didn't cover our Pangea corner to corner with air quotes cities, but in the end we did settle 115. And while there may not be a specific lesson there, I'd like to think we all learned something both meaningless and menial. Thanks for watching.